Welcome to the Dr. Jeff Experience. Another Tuesday evening. I hope everything has been going well. We're into the second month of 2024. Man, time is just flying. And we're celebrating Black History Month. And man, we know that Black history is American history. So we want to share our accomplishments, our achievements with everything that has helped these United States of America become a better place for all people. Listen, tonight, I told you, I warned you, buckle up, put your seatbelts on, don't drink any coffee or anything else, because we got a guest tonight that's been dropping jewels. If you catch him on Instagram at The White George, man, let me just bring him on. I'm excited to have him on. Brother George, how you doing, man?
What's going on, Dr. Jeff? Long time no see. It's been, December since I saw you?
Yeah, man. Listen, I've been following White George on Instagram, and I found out that he was going to be at the, look at this, they're already chiming in, man. I found out that he was going to be at the Celebration Bowl with the Howard University. As you can see, we're right over here, right over there. Howard University versus what was that other team they played? Oh, FAMU, which I can't have hate for because my son went there. So, hey, it's all good. But we lost. But I got to see White George and his wife in person, man. We took pictures, man, and just a great guy, man, just a great guy. And I am so honored to have you here. And seeing the contributions that you have been making to enlighten all people about the contributions of African Americans to America and the significance of historically Black colleges and universities. Man, you've got a story, man, and we're so happy. We're so happy to have you. Here's his link on Instagram. You go and follow him. And we're gonna make some changes in this world tonight. So come on, tell the people all about you, brother.
Man, I'm just a middle-aged ex-con, ex-opiate addict. Used to be a truck driver. Did a whole bunch of other stuff, and grew up really, really racist in a small town in Arkansas. The usual white boy stuff. And God got a hold of me through a lot of experiences, especially prison, and lifted a veil back over my eyes. And I saw some things I can't unsee, and nor can I remain silent any longer.
Wow, man. Wow. Wait a minute. So you grew up a racist.
Mm-hmm.
And what was that behind that? What drove you to be that?
It was just, I was taught that way. I didn't know I could think any other way. You live in an echo chamber of reinforcement. It's just continuous, and you don't ever let anything else in. You don't know there's another way to think. You just think that's the way everybody thinks.
Wow. That's incredible, man. That's incredible. I mean, it wasn't for any reason that, you had negative instances with
experiences? No, nothing like that. No.
Really?
No, it was just, I always describe it this way. It's like saying in my neighborhood, I got a bunch of cars up on blocks and I don't mow the grass, right? But the first time a Black family moves in my neighborhood, I'm going to blame my property value going down on that family. I don't want to be accountable for the junkyard I got going on, driving my value down. It's easier to blame someone else.
Right.
But here's this, but I'll also say this. I might have been raised or taught that way. But when I became an adult in my 20s, or you'd say even early 30s, when I'm able to critically think for myself and have perspective, it still took me a long time beyond that for my morality, my character, and my racism to intercede, or my faith to intercede. Like, you would have thought my Christianity and racism would have intersected far sooner, but they didn't.
Really?
It wasn't talked about in church. I never associated racism in any way, shape, or form with religion or being a sin, or, I know the Bible, I was raised in a church, but there's a disassociation between the two.
Talk to me about that.
I mean, I grew up a Southern Baptist church. I mean, we were taught good values. I mean, I was with the church with good people. I'm just saying that subject was never broached.
Wow.
It wasn't talked about.
So it wasn't a thing of, being just being cool with everybody and loving thy neighbor and all of that. What happened to that?
I mean, it's that, but it never really talks about the societal issues. They want to talk about abortion and topics like that in church. Yeah. By the way, I've walked out before on just not the place to talk about it. But, other important societal issues they don't want to touch because, a lot of times the church I grew in kind of leans right and white, and you can't lose that. You can't lose that tithing base either.
Right.
It's still a business.
Right. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's been a big discussion lately, So tell me, what was the process in getting you from there to here?
I'll just say it's a lot of experiences. Bentley, stop.
Oh, that's my cool partner right there, man. That Labradoodle.
Come here. Come on. You've already got treats. You got water. You've been outside.
Hey, we got dog lovers on there, so we're good.
Come here, Bentley. Come here. He's just gonna be annoying.
Oh, it's all good, man. It's
almost
good.
like come here. Nope, can't get him. All right. So anyway, it's a lot of experiences combined together, but I don't think it was until prison and actually after prison did it all start to come together for me. Prison gave me a whole Sorry, hey.
No, it's all good, man.
Let me get him a treat. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead. Listen, guys, we want you to, if you're watching us on YouTube, man, we want you to like and follow. Even on Facebook and Instagram Live, we want you to like and follow so you can be alerted when these shows are coming on. Tonight, we have our good friend. We call him the White George. I'm just calling him my buddy George because he is dropping some jewels on us during Black History Month. And we want you to donate. Let me tell you this. I found out, and I'm sure you're going to talk about it, but just the cost of this cause in educating others about the importance of Black history. This man has been threatened. His life has been threatened. He's lost thousands of dollars just trying to educate others about the importance of the contributions of African Americans in this society. So tell me about your transition to where you are now.
I'll just say if it's hard to crystallize one moment, but there's one. I had a cellmate named Larry, my first cellmate in prison. Larry was a Black American guy, grew up about 20 minutes away from me, but he might as well have grown up on Mars and I grew up on Earth, right? To be so close and our experiences so different. And I think his first or second day, he goes, "Are you racist?" And I was kind of like, "Yeah, kind of." He goes, "Can I ask you some questions?" So we were on 23-1 lockdown. And he started asking me questions and I gave him honest answers. And I was like, "Can I ask you some questions?" And I got to ask him a whole lot of things I didn't understand. And we talked for those few weeks. We talked a lot. We formed a brotherhood. And I think that conversation went way further than I realized into opening my eyes. To see that it's the way I measured and viewed the world, my own metrics, I was applying to everybody else and not trying to see it maybe from their perspective. He just kind of opened my eyes to that. And then there was an ongoing process of experiences. But I will say this, it's a very long and slow process. In prison, it wasn't like my eyes were snapped open. It's just they were forced open. And after I could process everything, did I start to understand my reality.
How did that make you feel over time, man? I mean,
you hate that you were taught wrong. You hate that your character was flawed for so long. You hate you believe things that aren't really real. I mean, you kind of feel like a fool a little bit, but at the same time, how could I know the difference?
Yeah. How did your friends and family take this?
I would say 97% good.
Yeah. I feel you, man. I feel you. So you played sports and stuff in school? No?
Yeah, I was football and a bodybuilder and a powerlifter, heavyweight.
You had any Blacks or Hispanics or Asians on your team?
No, in my school, no, we had a few Black American students. So few, you always just said they were white like us. You know what I mean? The old trope.
Right.
Still friends with several today. I still remember the first friend or kid I ever met, fourth grade, Ronnie Torrance on the tetherball court. He's from Oakland, California. But they all grew up with me all the way through school. So, I never had a negative experience. The few that we had at school were just our friends.
So it's just the way you taught and how you're raised.
Oh, my dad would have close friends that were black guys, right? Still could just be the N-word all the time when I was a kid, but he served in Vietnam with some guys that he considered like brothers. So it's a weird juxtaposition.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're hating some abstract thing, it's one thing, but you're not hating the actual person in front of you.
Right. I got you. That's weird, isn't it?
It's an insidious form of mental cancer is what I like to say.
Mental cancer. Wow, man. So, man, you've been dropping jewels on us, man. What you got for us tonight, man?
Well, I was going to tell you something, not history related. I'll give you some history, but one thing I'm just starting to put out there is I'm walking across America starting in April.
You're walking across America.
I'm going to put my hands in the ocean in New York. I'm going to walk 3,000 miles to LA and put my hand in the ocean. And I'm going to be wearing HBCU shirts all the way across the country. That's 6 months to draw awareness to these schools and how great they are in the history. And I'm going to try to promote financial reading literacy. Those are the two things I want to work with groups along the way to promote, but use this community as a moving platform. You know, walk a mile in my shoes and I'll walk a mile in yours.
How do we get involved in that? How do we get involved in this? How do we support this?
I'm going to start looking at, I'm starting to be talking to people about outright sponsorships. Because it's going to cost a little bit, the logistics of this. We're trying to work the details out, get in an RV, because it'll only go 25 miles a day. That's about as far as I can push my body when I work up to my max. But I've got a few events scheduled this year I'll fly out for, but there's not a lot of people that walk across the country, especially not a middle-aged guy. It's a great weight loss program, but I don't know how else to draw people's attention to what community should look like. You know what I mean? How we draw it. We get people to pay attention to the great things in this country that they're often overlooked.
Wow. Here's a question we got for you. What did that person in prison learn from what you shared with him?
He learned that racism for me wasn't a hate thing. He just automatically assumed it was a hate. And it was more of a superiority and an insecurity and an ego thing.
Superiority.
Because I look down and blame somebody else for my problems.
That's deep, George. That's really deep right there, man. Wow. So you were about to drop a jewel on us.
All right. I'm going to tell you one, because I just think this is cool because I've been studying up till it again. This is where Black history keeps making history. You ready?
Go ahead.
Let's go see if I can find a bottle. There is a gentleman who had a plantation in the 1850s in Tennessee named Mr. McCall, Dan Call, I think was his name. And on that plantation, he had an enslaved American man. He had rented out from a company that had African, heritage slaves that learned charcoal filtering. So he had him on his farm doing his little distillery. Went along in the 1850s, a 9 or 10-year-old orphan boy came up. He'd lost his parents, asking for a job for room and board. Well, that dude's name was Jasper. Well, Jasper and the enslaved American man named Nathan Uncle Nearest Green actually became friends. Jasper started learning how to make whiskey, right? But what Uncle Nearest taught him is how to charcoal filter it, which is what we now know as Tennessee whiskey. Now, after emancipation, once Jack Daniels never owned Uncle Nearest as a slave, by the way, he was never old enough to have slaves. But after emancipation, several years after, they started Jack Daniels, and we know what all that became. Well, that story got hidden until 2016 when a woman named Fawn Weaver was on vacation, I believe in Singapore, and came across this story. She immediately, when she got back, went to Nashville, started digging around and uncovered all these documents. And out of this, she started the Uncle Nearest Whiskey, or the Nearest Green Distillery. And what's amazing is it creates a foundation that any descendants of Nathan Uncle Nearest Green get their bachelor's, their master's, and their PhD paid for through this foundation. A couple other things. It's the largest Black-owned liqueur business in the world. It's the largest Black female-owned business in America. It's the fastest-growing whiskey in American history. And the last 11 consecutive quarters, she's had over 100% growth consecutive. Yeah.
Hey, I must admit, it is one of my favorites. Wow, that's a great story, man. I happen to know that story very well. As a matter of fact, I just had some friends that went on a trip to the Uncle Nearest factories to see, everything that's going on. Man,
you've got to go.
How did you come across this, man?
Huh?
How did you come across this?
I was just doing research on history. My girl told me about the story, and I started looking it up and found it. Now I've been to the distillery 3 times. One of her tour guides We flew to New York. He performed on stage at the Apollo Theater with me. I was telling stories about HBCUs, and I had him painting art, and we didn't tell anybody, didn't even acknowledge him. He's up there doing art, and when I finished, I explained there's a mother in Shelbyville, Tennessee, who wanted to see her son do art someday on stage at the Apollo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is her son. Then I gave him the microphone to say hi to his mom and to close the show, and off the stage we went.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Tell me about some of your things that you found out about and why you have such a passion to learn about HBCUs.
Well, for one, like I said, I've studied. I mean, George Washington Carver is the first biography of a Black American I ever learned about out of the encyclopedias when I was 7. He's significant to me because our initials were the same, GW. That was a big deal to a 7-year-old with an odd name.
Yeah.
But I've always just loved history, right? And I've always been fascinated by struggle because the results of the struggle are more profound than those who receive those results without a struggle usually. I just sort of see a correlation. I hate sociologies, but I think my mind tends to think that way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But as I'm learning all these different figures and stories, I started to see that historically Black college universities became a very central theme in all these stories. And I started to wonder about where these brilliant minds are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because even out of PWIs, they're not dime a dozen. You don't see brilliance like this very often.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking doesn't come out of a school very often.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Dr. Gladys West, who gave us GPS, those are once in a lifetime type people out of Virginia.
That was a drive-by, man. You just shot that one so quick and rolled past. Back that up, man, about that GPS.
Dr. Gladys West went to Virginia State. Her parents were sharecroppers. She started applying for math jobs. That's her degree. And nobody was said to be hiring her. She happened to send her application out to the Navy Surface Warfare Center, and they actually sent her a letter. She didn't accept it because she didn't think that they would hire her once they saw the color of her skin. Well, they kept at it and finally convinced her to come work for them. She'd never seen a computer there ever before she got there. So they were working on this little thing about telling us where we are on maps using electronics, but the problem is it wasn't accurate. And she identified the problem we had is the way the tidal forces the moon pulls on the earth and the oceans, altering its shape ever so slightly at certain times. And she created the computer code and math that scientists could understand it and be explained. And that's how we got pinpoint accuracy from GPS. She's a fascinating woman, fascinating.
And tell me her name again. I mean, I know this for our audience.
Dr. Gladys West.
Come on, guys. Listen, I hope you guys are sharing this tonight because George is dropping jewels. Dr. Gladys West. Let's put this in here because you need to know this. Creator of the GPS system.
Yep. And you've also got Dr. Catherine Thomas, who did 3D.
For you young folks, y'all should know this because you can't go anywhere. You don't know nothing about east, west, north, and south. Everything has to be in the GPS system. So George is helping you out tonight. So
I'll go you one better. The cell phones we use would be worthless without Jesse Eugene Russell, a proud Tennessee State alumni who gave us digital wireless networks. It's his brainchild through AT&T. Our cell phones wouldn't work without him.
Wow. And who was this again?
Jesse Eugene Russell.
Jesse Eugene Russell gave us
digital wireless networks.
Digital wireless networks. Man, have you been influential to other races, whether black or white, to change their thought process?
Yeah, I saw that under there from Karen. I've had probably 30 or 35 phone calls from white guys who had conversations with me where they're vulnerable about their own racism. Like asking me what it's like, what did I do? Was it hard? Just sometimes there's sideways questions, but I've had several, some of complete strangers. They struggle that their son has a different race girlfriend, or has black friends. And he goes, I know it's wrong to think the way I do, but I don't know how to not think that way. Like, I don't want to be that way. Those type conversations.
Wow, that's interesting, man.
Yeah, whoever thought white guys being vulnerable about their own racism to each other?
Well, I often tell people, that's why it's good to talk. If there's a saying I said earlier, the softest word, the softest conversation can open the hardest lock. Just a simple hello to somebody goes so far to so many people. And it opens up conversation. It's almost like when you say hello to somebody, you say, I'm not a threat. I'm here to talk. Let's talk. And you find out so much. I mean, when I saw you talking about Black history on Instagram, I could have said, "Oh man, who's this guy?" But I listened. I was like, "Wait a minute. This has to go across to everybody because okay, so I knew about the GPS. I knew about Uncle Nearest, but I did not know about the cell phone and digital wireless network."
How about Mark Dean? He gave us the first gigahertz computer chip. He also is on 3 of the 9 patents on the first IBM personal computer.
Wow. Wow, that's my wife. She's on fire tonight, man. Do you know about the man who invented the airplane before the Wright brothers?
Actually, yes. A few weeks ago, I was just researching that. I was because there's a lot of not gray area, but there's things that have to be parsed out really well in there between what's considered flight, et cetera, to make sure it gives its place.
Right.
But yeah, out of Louisiana, both the airplane and the helicopter came down there for both men of color.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Of course, I have to ask this. Have you researched, I know this will get you, some of the biblical aspects of Blacks in the Bible?
No, I haven't. To be honest, I've not. I've stayed within this history right now. I mean, if you ask me if Jesus is white, I'm going to tell you no. It's just a great marketing tool. I mean, I'm not stupid because you have Asian Jesus. It's a marketing tool.
Yeah.
People just believe it's real. He looks like all of us or none of us. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I won't go there, but it's good for us to read and learn history and get underneath what we've been taught. The more you dig, the more you shovel down, the more gold you'll discover down there, and you'll want to dig more, and you'll want to dig more, and you'll want to dig more, and you'll find out that, for instance, we call this thing the Middle East, and the term Middle East didn't really come about until the 1900s. The building of the Suez Canal, which means that the Middle East is Africa, Israel and Palestine, and what we see today is originally Africa. So you've got to dig deep to find out what's behind some of these wars, what's behind some of the things that are happening in politics, and what are the reasons behind it. And you'll see, unfortunately, that discrimination and racial polarization, racial divide is behind it, because those in politics, they're just the mouthpieces for the big guys who want to separate us and keep us at each other's throat so they can make all the moves.
Of course.
So everybody, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer.
It works, doesn't it?
It does. It does, George. So tell me about some of the things you found out at these HBCUs. I'm dying to hear more because you've been on a quest.
It's funny. I found out George Washington Carver did not invent peanut butter. He did everything else in the world with peanuts, but he did not invent peanut butter. John Kellogg did, the cereal giant. I found out these schools are tragically underfunded by states, often intentionally. And I see the lacking infrastructure or disrepair that the schools can't afford to fix and stay open at the same time. And they do the best they can with what they have. I've seen some most incredible, beautiful American history. Fisk, Tuskegee, Morehouse. And I've learned probably one of the most important things is the importance. I never understood safe spaces like I do now, or secure. Like, I've had so many students tell me they went to an HBCU because they felt safe to become themselves and find their own identity within that space. Wow. Not pressured from a white world or any other community, but one within their own that they could come into their own. And I have heard that so often, and now I see the beauty of it.
Wow. So you've actually visited some of these campuses, correct?
Oh, 22 of them.
22 of them. Tell me about some of them. Name some.
Morehouse. I snuck onto Spelman with the Morehouse band because I still hadn't got permission to go to Spelman. I've been to Clark.
Oh, it's not right there. Let's talk about your Morehouse experience, man.
We love Morehouse, man. I've been to Morehouse several times. I should be going weekend after this one. I won't be attending Candle in the Dark because I couldn't get a ticket, but I'll be in Atlanta. No, I love Morehouse, man. Henry, good game. Joe Carlos, I met Professor Ilya Davis. I've got to tour the chapel all over the campus. And
My good friend, Dean Carter.
It's hard because I learned about Morehouse on the Cosby Show. You know what I mean? That's where I learned about what HBCUs were, even though I grew up around 4 of them in Little Rock. That's where my family started learning about them. So Morehouse is a very mystical place. There's no disrespect or shade to any other HBCU. It's none. But the Morehouse culture is kind of unique unto itself.
Well, let me give you a little history because I'm a graduate of Morehouse School of Religion. So Morehouse actually started off as a theological school. And it started off in Augusta. And then here it went from theological education and it opened up to liberal arts. Of course, you got funding for football, basketball, sports, and all that kind of stuff. And then Morehouse School of Religion went over to a property right next to it, the Interdenominational Theological Center, which housed a large number of your historically Black theological institutes, HBTIs, Gammon Theological, Turner Chapel, Morehouse School of Religion. I think it was like 6 of them at one time. I think, God, I can't remember the names, but so I was a student there. I graduated with my master's from Morehouse School of Religion. The next class after me was the last class on the campus. They're getting ready to take Morehouse School of Religion to another campus. But again, history-wise, that's what it started off as. So that's just a little bit of history to add to yourself. And then, of course, I'm a Howard University graduate. And have you been to the Mecca yet?
No, I've not been to Howard. I mean, it's definitely on my list, but people keep asking that, and I have so many other schools to see along the way. So Howard will fit where it fits naturally.
Tell me about your experiences, though, on some of these that you visited.
Oh, man, it's been, we started off, school wasn't in session. We just kind of snuck on guerrilla style. I studied the school a lot before I went, and I could walk the school and just sort of feel the energy, and my eyes were telling me what my imagination had created from reading, right? And as I did that, I could just find that I could really naturally tell the story. And we did it with the purpose of like a virtual tour for parents or kids interested in these schools who can't afford to attend. So that's kind of the position I tried to tell the story as, because I didn't know how many people would watch this. If I'm there, I might as well make content. I didn't realize that it would turn into a thing.
Yeah, are you amazed at this? We got Kathy talking about Hampton. Yeah, Kathy, he mentioned Hampton. Matter of fact, you're on your way to Hampton, right? Or
no, Tennessee State this weekend, but I'm meeting up at a Hampton alum who's a good friend of mine there.
Okay, all right.
I definitely can't wait to go to Hampton, the HBCU by the sea.
Yeah, the bougie folk over there.
Come here, babe. Come say hi.
Hey,
hi, Dr. Jeff. We met at the Celebration Bowl.
Hey, sis, how you doing?
Just getting home.
Okay, well, we are loving having Brother George on today, man, and he's enlightening so many of our audience, and so thankful for the work that you guys are doing. And good luck to your son with that saxophone.
Thank you.
He's been barking.
Right. Yeah, man. So your adventure. How do you feel about what has taken place, man, with this Instagram post that you're doing?
I don't know. I guess more than ever, I always say it's when I got down on my knees and asked God, how do I serve others instead of myself? That's when everything changed for me, once I redirected my purpose and philosophy. And it's like a path has opened up. So I'm surprised by some of it, but other times I knew that I had to pass something like this to follow. I just didn't know exactly what it would unfold as, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, so I didn't know people cared when a middle-aged white guy tells stories about Black American history. I thought it would just be a little bit educational. I didn't know people would care that much, to be honest.
Well, George, we're in the age of information. And with these computers that we have now, everybody wants to get involved or wants to know more about something. I can't get enough books. I just had 3 come in the mail today.
I noticed.
I mean, every day. It's just I'm studying now because I'm doing some speaking this month, And, you know, you've got so much that you want to say, you almost don't have enough time. So, you know, thank God for things like this that you can kind of put stuff out there in chunks. And you hope that people take it and not just listen to it, but go deep and find out even more. Because again, the more you find out, just like tonight, you told us about the global positioning systems and the wireless networks, and you know, we're learning about Uncle Nearest. We're learning about all these things. People don't know this stuff, and really, George, is people our age, because we weren't taught this. You know, we were taught the same old thing over and over again, but we never know this. So I'm so glad, man, that God has instilled in you this passion to go out and talk like this. Here's another question: how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been reading the stories literally all my life. The story I told about John H. Johnson, you know, publisher of Jet and Ebony magazine, I've known since I was a little kid because my grandparents grew up in the same town with him.
Really?
So all these stories I've known forever, stories I've read over my life. It wasn't like I just picked up a few stories a year ago. I started October 2022 making my first TikTok doing physics experiments. And I had some go viral, like using butane and Coke bottles, you know, that kind of fun stuff, and dad jokes. But I told the story of John H. Johnson and it went viral. And I'm like, well, I know a lot more. So it just sort of morphed into me taking my knowledge and then adding to that knowledge and kind of finessing my storytelling abilities into something that is hopefully clever and educational.
George, tell me about some of the pushback you've had.
I've gotten death threats, you know, don't come back to Arkansas. I've been called a white savior. And I'm like, thank you. I am a white savior. I'm white and I saved my own ass. So by definition, you're right. You know, hate doesn't offend me. I don't get offended, period. I mean, what happens if you get offended? You don't grow a third eyebrow or a second butthole. Nothing happens when you get offended, right? And I realize people, when they're projecting hate or negativity to me, it's just overcoming their own insecurities. Misery loves company, and they feel like there's some validation or it makes them feel better to attack me, or I become a face of something I don't like. I get it. I'm cool with it. You know, I just don't, it is what it is.
Yeah. You know, George, let me ask you, have you ever done any history about the environmental racism that's going on in America, and done any history of that?
In as much as a lot of where they put Black American communities, that, you know, they put them in, like, say, New Orleans and like the worst, the former garbage dump areas, you know, things like that, where the problems have rooted up, you know, that. But I'm still learning how far systemic racism goes. It's still something that it keeps unfolding in front of my eyes because, you know, for forever I didn't see it.
Yeah. There's a great book I'm reading, Dumping into Dixie, by Robert Bullard. Robert Bullard has the Bullard Foundation, and he's an expert on environmental racism. And he talks about those places like in Mississippi, for instance. I think it was on 60 Minutes, where the little kid, man, was next to a chicken factory, and the wastewater runs out from thousands of chickens, and they just recycle it in the grass. And sometimes while the kids are out playing right in front of their house, the water is dripping on their face as if it's raining. And, you know, that can't be good for you. But this happens all around in African-American neighborhoods, or poor neighborhoods, whether it's black, white, or whatever. And it's a horrible thing. So you've received death threats, George.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's not, I survived years in prison, man. I've heard worse.
Yeah.
You know, and plus they're hiding behind a keyboard. I mean, if somebody really wants to have a conversation with me, I'm a fan of road trips. So I'll show up and we can have that. Come to Jesus.
You know the deal, man. And we got some folks, man, at a website called willridedownThere.com.
I mean, you know, it's just, but again, I think people just want to be heard, even when they're lashing out like that. It's just to be heard.
Well, I think also that they're fighting amongst themselves, fighting that feeling of, I know this is right, but I don't want to be right. There was a song, I can't remember the name of the singer, but he said, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Barbara Mandrell, country.
There it is, Doc. There it is, man.
I remember the Mandrell sisters, would come on Saturday night at like 6 or 6:30. Louise, Barbara, Mandrell. I was going to tell you, I was at a hotel. I can't remember where we were. Somewhere. And a gentleman told me that just a week before, he's from Jersey. He was in a car with 3 other white friends. They were all saying the N-word. He said they said it so much he felt uncomfortable. But they would say, like, oh, you don't say the word. Like, they're looking for validation among themselves, peer pressure to have to say the word. So now they're all included on this. And he told me, he goes, man, and I didn't want to say it, but I also didn't want to start a fight with everybody. And it turned into some big deal. So he got pressure to use the word. Like, I don't think people realize kind of how this goes on because, A, a lot of people won't talk about this side of it. But he's getting peer pressure to act out, would like let it manifest itself that way. It's just a unique conversation I didn't think I would have with somebody, as a 50-year-old man that would see it that way. Yeah.
George, again, tell me some more about some of them. I'm interested to know about some of the HBCUs that you visited.
Let's see. Well, Booker T. Washington walked almost 500 miles from Hellsford, Virginia to Hampton as a 16-year-old with no middle initial and no last name.
Wait a minute. What?
And Booker T. Washington never even knew his date of birth while he was alive. Taliaferro was a popular surname in Virginia. He took it in, and he took the last name Washington because of George Washington of Washington, D.C. Thought it would help give him credibility in a white man's world. He was working 2 shifts at the coal mine before he left for Hampton, before school and after school. Had to teach himself how to read and write. Showed up at Hampton with no certificate, no money, no nothing. Remember, he crossed Virginia for 500 miles as a 16-year-old young black American boy in racist Virginia.
He walked.
Yeah, he walked.
500 miles.
Yeah, because it's 234 miles. I GPSed it, right? But they estimate the path because there's no roads back then.
Right.
And so he's having to stay out of the way of white people,
right,
hiding, trying to find food. And the estimate's about 500 miles because it's not a straight line. So, yeah, at 16, had to beg his way into the school. And he had the highest grades there forever, the highest grades ever earned there at Hampton. Wow. And, he got, as a 25-year-old, they called the general, the benefactor at Hampton, and asked if they knew anybody that could start a college down in Alabama. And that white general said, I got just the guy. He's not going to be white, though. So he sent Booker T down there. They started Tuskegee.
Man, I hope you guys are telling your friends about this stream tonight. Man, you need to like and share and get somebody on. George is on here dropping jewels, man.
Hey, I'll give you another one. He was the first black American dentist at Harvard. Okay, it's a guy named George Grant. He was so cold as a dentist that the president of Harvard, the white president, came to him, Dr. Grant, for dental care. Now, in his spare time, he liked to golf a little bit, so he just happened to design and patent what we know as the modern golf tee.
The golf tee?
Yep.
Who was this again?
George Grant.
Come on, man.
And I just blinked out, I think George Garrett, Garrett, he did the traffic light. Just to be clear about it, he did not invent the traffic light. He invented the yellow part of the traffic light. And that's way more crucial because he kept seeing cars wreck in Cleveland because they go from red to green or green to red and people would crash into each other. So he came up with that, patented it, became the first black American man in Cleveland to own a car. And he sold the patent to GE for $40,000 back then.
Come on, man. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. All right. Hold on, man. Hold on. So he didn't invent the traffic light, but he invented the yellow light.
He made it way better.
Way better because it went from green to red and
Yep.
people were crashing.
There was no warning signal out of it. Yeah.
So this man is thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man.
I'm telling you. How about Otis Boykin, who's a Fisk University graduate? Huh?
Otis Boykin.
Otis Boykin. Back then, back in the 1940s and 50s, consumer electronics were really expensive because they had to be produced for certain areas of the country. In other words, what you could watch in Phoenix would not work in, say, Montana. Humidity, temperature levels, etc., right? Because they affected it. He came up with the variable resistance resistor that let it vary how much resistance gave in it, which made it impervious to temperature and humidity. So now they can mass produce TVs and sell them all over the country, not by regions. It exists in almost every consumer product we have. Now, he's also so badass that when his mom died of heart failure, he came up with a control module for the pacemaker.
What?
Yeah, and his technology is still used in guided missile systems in this country. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Otis Boykin.
Come on, man. Come on. Come on. George, you're killing me, man. Man.
Yeah, man. There's how about this? This I haven't told in a while. You may love this. Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams Early, Wilberforce University. She came out of a lieutenant because she had a degree in World War II, Women's Air Auxiliary Corps, the WACs. Well, they gave her an impossible job to sort out 17 million pieces of mail in Europe during World War II. Literally an impossible task. They sent her and 900 Black American women in the WACs over to Europe. They thought it would take 3 years to make a dent in it. She had it caught up in 3 months. 17 million pieces of mail. She created 7 million serial numbers. This is before computers. And now along the way, when she was just a major, because she stepped out as a lieutenant colonel, the highest ranking Black American woman in the Army at that time, and no woman had been general yet, or they believed she might have been the first. Having said that, she had dinner with a general one night, a white general who said he wanted to see her troops the next day. He shows up. She has 300 soldiers out there. He goes, I thought you have 900. Yes, sir. Where are they? 300 are in bed, 300 are at work, and 300 are here on their off time. He goes, well, I want to see all 900. And she said, over my dead body. The white general goes, excuse me? Remember, she's a Black woman. She goes, over my dead body, sir. He tried to have her court-martialed. She charged him with some count of using racial divisive language, something that didn't even exist. Sent it up. The Pentagon got it and got a hold of both and said, cool your jets. Later, that general wrote Lieutenant Colonel Adams, or Early's father, and said she's one of the finest officers he ever served with. She completely saved the Army mail system in World War II. Like, it was crazy.
And what is her name again?
Lieutenant Colonel Charity Adams Early.
Lieutenant Colonel Charity
Adams Early. Tyler Perry's making a movie right now about it.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's who that's about.
Yeah.
Man, George, how did you come across that?
I mean, I could tell you about the Little Rock Nine, the integration of Central High School, because my dad was a sophomore and my uncle was a senior there.
Really?
Yeah. My great uncle was Governor Faubus's chief of staff, the one who called the National Guard out to prevent them from entering.
Yeah.
Yeah, my great uncle, Claude Carpenter, was his chief of staff.
Wow, man.
Yeah, so my family's, a lot of history.
This mail story is taking me all the way out, man.
Hey, oh, no, it gets better. So after they cycled over to France from England, right, they got put up in a 5-star hotel where they had white ladies waiting on them, changing the sheets, doing the laundry, treated them like royalty, like they would any white customer. Like, because over there, it didn't matter.
Right.
Racism wasn't thing like here.
Right.
And the thing is it empowered those women. They came home what we might have would have called uppity, but they came back home empowered because they knew what it was like to be treated right.
900 women. From
900 came back. Yeah, realizing that they knew how to be treated correctly. So you think about that 900 in the 1945, how that would branch out about all those women who became mothers and grandmothers who instilled that in their, you know what I mean? Like, we don't think about how such a small microcosm in history can have such a ripple effect.
And how one woman standing up for what was right made the difference for those 900.
Well, the mail system that came after it, because it revolutionized the way the Army handled the mail. They would get something literally Bubba Smith, Europe, and they would eventually track down the person it belonged to. They were uncanny for finding mail to its owner.
Are you kidding me?
No, because they created a numerical serial system that worked that they could fast go through. Yeah. These uneducated Black, it's dispelling stereotypes.
So let me go back to this. So here it is. The troops are receiving mail. And it doesn't have an address. It just has a name and somewhat of a location. And they sent these sisters over there to get this done. And they came up with a mail system to get to the troops and to the people.
Yeah, they could cross-reference certain things. They would start collecting information on people and constantly record it by serial number. And they could cross-reference those cards, and that's how they could find things fast. Once they built up like a unit or a battalion somewhere, then they knew when they found others that went to it and they could get it out. It's just, yeah, common sense and logic like at next level.
George, let me ask you a question, man. Have you ever thought about just recording things sometimes? Like, because this is stuff that you need to pass down, man.
I tell all the stories when I get them in story form. That's why I post them so that they exist in, perpetuity.
Yeah. You need to have your own recordings, and so somebody can transcribe it, man. You could do your own books. I mean, insight from a guy on the other side. You've got a story, man, and I'm so pleased to have you on. Guys, listen, if you are listening tonight, if you are taking part in on Facebook Live, Instagram, YouTube, look, first of all, this information ain't free. So we got a Cash App. You see it scrolling across the bottom. We want you to donate to this brother, man. He puts in time and his life. He's getting ready to walk across America with his story, enlightening people of all walks, to the contributions of HBCUs and Black Americans in America. And also, what I want you to do is, I want you to take notes. A lot of times we just sit back and we listen. Of course, this will be available to you on Facebook Live and Instagram and YouTube. You can always go back, but I want you to share it with some people so that they can get an understanding on the importance of reading and finding out so much that's going on.
Dr. Jeff, can I share something with you that happened?
Please do.
I get to meet a lot of very interesting people on this journey. And I was at the Civil Rights Museum in Jackson, Mississippi last week. It was a rainy day. And I was told, I don't know if you've ever heard of Joan Trumpauer Mulholland.
I have not.
Lady. She was a Delta. She went to Tougaloo, first white girl ever to go to Tougaloo. She spent 2 months on death row at Parchman Prison in Mississippi for sit-ins, protesting with her Black brothers and sisters. Anyway, she's quite iconic in the civil rights movement. Knew Dr. King, Medgar Evers, etc. Her son, Loki, who's a filmmaker, told me I need to go see Hezekiah Watkins at the Civil Rights Museum. Hezekiah was the youngest freedom rider at age 13. He landed on death row at age 13 in Parchman Prison in Mississippi. A call from John F. Kennedy to the governor of Mississippi got him released. He's been arrested 109 times and counting, as he likes to say. He's 76. I got to sit down and spend an hour with him hearing about stories about prison and being a freedom rider. And, what he went through in prison was a horrible experience. I didn't record. I shut the camera off. At 13, for standing up for everything he believes in, his right to speak and be a human and be equal. And what they took from him, a 13-year-old, it's a different side of the journey people don't get to see that I experience.
Yeah.
But that's history. That's American history.
Thank you. It's American history. That's what we titled tonight. Black history is American history. It's real simple. We're not trying to say that Black history is better than Asian history or Hispanic history or anything else. We want people to know that Black history is American history.
And they're inextricably intertwined too. That's the thing.
Things that were built. Let's take Washington, D.C. and the impact of Black Americans that built the White House, built Washington,
physically built, yeah.
Physically built the whole traffic system. I think they made a mistake on the Beltway, but that's another story for another day. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you got me thinking earlier. Something else I learned about HBCUs. I think his name was John Corbin. He started University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, I think in 1871, 1879. Don't hold me to it. But sometime in the 1870s, as a Black American man, he was head of the Arkansas Department of Education for 2 years in racist, segregated Jim Crow, Arkansas.
Wow.
That's public record. I didn't pull it. I was like, But he started with 7 students there. He goes, I had one who could read, one who could write, but neither could do the other. Like he goes, I had 7 kids. If you put them together, they made the perfect student. He goes, some are at a 4th grade level, and he graduated all 7 of them. He got them all through college. But that's what he had to start with when he started the school.
Wow, man. Wow. That's crazy. So tell me about Tennessee State.
We got I'm going to see, like I said, my friend Colonel Miles Caggins, U.S. Army retired. He's a Hall of Fame trivia member for the Honda Campus All-Star Challenge. So there's several teams there. I don't know what teams yet, but they all come in and compete almost, I think, sort of like a Jeopardy format, maybe. It's kind of cool and high energy and fun. But they're all competing to go to the national tournaments in Southern California, I think in April, the first week. So this is a lot at stake. This is a regional qualifier. I mean, this is a year-long deal they do. And I didn't realize how big it is, 35th year of it.
George, how was your experience at the Celebration Bowl, man?
Oh, man, I had a fantastic time. Are you kidding me? I couldn't go far without taking selfies.
I know that's right, man. People recognize you, right?
There's a lady who jumped out in traffic to get a picture. She saw Anna and recognized her. And so jumped out of her Range Rover. And I'm like, oh, crap, I'll go take a picture with you. I'm not making you come over. Yeah, in traffic. Buc-ee's, I get the most random things. People walk by and go, TikTok.
Yeah. Buc-ee's, man. That place is unbelievable. I'll see it Thursday. I'm driving down to Greensboro. Wow, that's crazy, man.
Where do you live now?
I'm in Atlanta.
Are you in Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I'm in the A. So I know what your experience was like, man.
We love Atlanta, man. Ann and I talked. If we ever had a second place, we honestly, to God, think we'd like Atlanta. Good stuff for us happens there. We always have a great experience.
It's a unique place. Education is big down here, man.
Man, you got colleges down there.
We got so many colleges, man. We got Georgia State. We got Georgia Tech. We got
Emory. Look how big Emory is.
Oh, my gosh. We got Emory, man. We've got Morehouse. We got Spelman. We got Clark Atlanta. We've got
Morris Brown.
We've got all of the historically Black theological institutions on the ITC campus. We've got University of Georgia just a couple of miles away up in Athens. We got University of North Georgia. We got all kinds of trade schools and technical schools, man. This is no place for you to be dumb here.
I don't, especially being a white guy in Atlanta, being the Black cultural center of America, man, we've never had a single issue. I don't knock on wood, but no problems at restaurants. We just have a pleasant time there. Traffic is, I won't lie, traffic is not fun. For everything to take a while.
We don't really see a lot of racial uprisings at all. I mean, everything I've been here 6 years, and it's really about education and cultural awareness here. And that's what I love. I love the cultural awareness. I love the diversity. I go to a very diverse church. I go to Ebenezer Baptist Church, the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church. And, you see everybody here on Sundays. So it's a great place to be. I've enjoyed my time here, and I think this is home. I'm a Washingtonian. I was born in D.C.
I was about to ask you. Okay,
I was born in D.C. and then I was raised in Jersey. I was a policeman in Jersey, to be honest. Yeah, I retired after 25 years. And before that, I was not a policeman. And we'll just leave that alone. And then I retired. We moved to Tampa, Florida. And I had a security and private investigation firm, and I also pastored there. So I've been pastoring since 2003. And I've always, let me stop. My transition to see things different started when I got to Morehouse School of Religion. I started on my master's program. My eyes started opening to a broader sense when it came to theology. Not going to say religion, but theology in itself. And I saw how important it was to see people as humans rather than their religion and their beliefs. I saw that it was a big world. And this is why we can have these conversations, you and I together tonight. We can have these conversations and understand the importance of the work that you're doing, the work that we're doing in enlightening people on the importance of not just the contributions of African Americans, but how all Americans are able to do what they do better because of those contributions. And I think it's very important. And then for a person like yourself, George, to be transparent in the fact that how you have evolved, and not only have you evolved, but you become passionate about not just learning more, but teaching more, exposing more, to the point that you're putting your life on the line. I think that says so much, man. And I know that this is ordained by God. This is ordained by your whole story. Your whole story. I mean, throughout the Bible, we see many transitions that have taken place because of a prison experience. But you are one of those, and I'm thankful, man. I really am, and I'm glad that God put us together. And I want to continue to assist you in your work and expose however I can, especially with your upcoming walk across America. Man, listen, we got a couple minutes left, man. I can't believe how fast this time is going. Come on, hit us with some more bombs, George. Tell us some more stuff we need to know, man.
I'm trying to think of who. Okay, I've told this because it's one of my favorite. That's, you know, the one about the 11-year-old orphan who the 6th grade education. Do you know that one? He's left. His mom died, and people get mad when I call him biracial because he identified as Black American. But at 11, his dad died, leaving him an orphan. He never went past 6th grade in Cincinnati, and went into the Army in World War I and was so mechanically proficient. Generals would actually trade temporary duty at camps because he'd rewire all their communications and electricity at the camps. Now, this is just a buck private, right? Black American soldier. He promoted to sergeant, field promotion in World War I, and that was rare because of his talents and abilities. Came back home to Minnesota. He happened to say that it was the least racist place he ever lived, ironically. He went back there and found odd jobs. He put skis on airplanes so we could take doctors out to make house calls. When they couldn't take an x-ray machine, he created a portable one. He invented and patented the first movie ticket dispensing machine because he worked in a studio. And that was when silent pictures were there. When the talkies came out, the theater couldn't afford to upgrade. So he went for less than $100 and built the parts to synchronize talking with the old soundtracks now. So you could hear it out the speakers and rewired it. Well, a gentleman that came in and owned a cinema sound company saw this and was so blown away by it, he hired this man on the spot. So one day, a few years into this business they have, this gentleman's out golfing, this white owner, with the owner of a trucking company, says, "Man, I can't ship chickens across the country. They keep spoiling. We keep losing loads." He goes, "I know a guy." He went back, talked to the guy, remember the 6th grade education, he said, "Let me see what I can do." And then 2 weeks later, he drone the prototype for mobile refrigeration systems, which become the worldwide company Thermo King, which revolutionized grocery and food industries because now you can ship things anywhere because it stays frozen. His name was Frederick McKinley Jones. Guys, one of my favorite people in history. That man, there's nothing he couldn't do. Nothing.
Listen, man, I see Thermo King on the refrigeration units on these trucks all the time. Frederick McKinley King.
Frederick McKinley Jones.
Man.
Yeah, he sold, I think he got $32 million maybe by 1960 out of it. In today's value back then, it wasn't like he got taken. I mean, he sold out to, and now they're owned by Ingersoll Rand. But yeah, he sold out maybe 7-10 years into the company.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, he sold out. I mean, he retired.
So he started off being able to connect sound to the talking,
synchronize with.
So the reason that we are doing now,
he was able to do it with external parts instead of buying the new projectors like the studios wanted you to buy. He found a workaround around it. So at that cinema company, when this problem came up, he and Joseph Numera was the guy's name that owned the cinema company. They partnered together to start Thermo King. They were actually partners. Dr. Percy Julian, he's the one that gave us synthetic hormones from soybean oil and wild organic yams. He sold out the Julian Labs, I think, after 7 years for $23 million. He sold out in the very early 60s. His house firebombed. It was dynamited in Chicago.
What?
He was the first Black American family in Oak Park. Yeah, they threw a stick of dynamite outside his daughter's window a year into living there. She wasn't hurt. They rebuilt the house. Since then, his daughter's reached out to me. We're supposed to go back to Chicago to have lunch with her because she wants to tell me stories about her dad, Dr. Julian.
What?
Now, it gets better. We'll say worse. He went to DePaul University in Greencastle, Alabama, Indiana, 3 hours from here. They went on sleep on campus or eat on campus. He found a boarding house, but they wouldn't let him eat there. Nobody in town would sell him food. He was using a bathroom and like a closet using a mop bucket. Finally, a white fraternity took him in. If he cleaned and cooked, he could stay there. He graduated as valedictorian there at DePaul University. They wouldn't let him stay to get his master's because no white teacher or white student's going to want to learn from him. They said, go south. So he headed to Fisk. Taught at Fisk for a while, landed a scholarship to Harvard, where he went to Harvard and got his master's in chemistry, the first Black American to do so there. Asked about his PhD. They said, no, nobody white's going to want to learn from you. So to get his PhD, he had to go to Vienna, to the University of Austria to get his PhD. Blew them out of the water there because he could take alkaloids from a plant repetitively, and nobody could do that before. Came back here. He wrote Glidden for a paint of a 5-gallon bucket of soybean oil. Glidden called and said, why do you want it? And he told them with hormones. They hired him. He revolutionized the soybean industry while at Glidden. But he had the glass ceiling because of his colors, so he left and started his own company, Julian Labs. He had over 130 patents in the field of chemistry. Probably the greatest chemist in American history you've never heard of.
Dr. Julian?
Percy Julian.
Dr. Percy Julian.
He also taught at Howard for a while. You might want to look that up. He taught at Fisk and Howard.
George. Yeah, where would we be without all these people?
Yeah.
And if not for you, George, we would never know none of this. Man. And as you can see, I'm a reader. I mean, I have swum in the deep part of all of these books, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. Tonight has I could go on forever, man. People, I told you, man, buckle up. Put on your seatbelts, because you know the big thing with this, George, is the repeat. Those who will watch this over and over again. And so far we did 12,000 on one stream. I know tonight it's going to be over 25, 30,000 because this is just tremendous. Look, guys, I told you before, this man has not only put his life on the line, but he has put his finances on the line. This kind of study and research is not free. So we want you to cash out my man tonight. There it is at the bottom of your screen is $GWHITS. Also go to Instagram. Go to Instagram and check him out. He is always dropping jewels. He's always dropping jewels. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the sacrifice. I want to thank you for all that you're doing. We want to partner with you in any way that we can. We'll get information out. We'll let people know how they can assist you. And, man, whenever you're in the A, man, reach out to me, man. We'll go break bread together. I'll introduce you down at ITC, take you on the campus, show you around there. Amazing things going on. We got a new interim president, Dr. Maisha Handy. We'll get in to talk to her and just show you around campus, man.
I'll take you up on that. You better believe I will.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we can get to see Dr. Dean Lawrence Carter from the MLK Chapel. I was just recently inducted to the Martin Luther King chapel of ministers and laity there in the 2023 class. Thank you so much. So, yeah, man. Thank you again, George. Listen, guys, you know what I always tell you, man. Go out, meet needs, and solve problems. Let people know that you're here. Get up, do something nice. Say something nice to people. Again, the softest word breaks the hardest locks. We want to thank White George tonight, man. Bless you. Peace and blessings. George, don't go anywhere. I'm just going to close off the stream and hold on 1 second. God bless you guys. Take care. Wow, George. That man. Wow.